Since we're good. Hello, can everybody see me? I'll scoot over. Welcome, welcome. We're live. Hello, Periscope. Thank you, everybody else who's here. You guys are tuning in to Rich and Scott's live massive call to action. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Brooke Coleman. I am 26 years old. I'm from Ontario, Oregon, and I am extremely passionate. Rich Scott is going to be blowing everybody's mind tonight, getting us all in the zone. We have Pro 7 Nikki Elsing coming to Ontario for a Super Saturday. Whoop whoop! We want to get butts in seats, so this is to encourage everybody how to actually get out there and get busy. It's not just for people who want to sit down and twiddle their thumbs. This is actually going to stimulate some action in your business and get everybody pumped up. So enough of me. It's time for Rich Scott to steal the show. So, alrighty. Are we ready to turn it over, Rich?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Oh,
whoops. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. You're going to be the pilot.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
going to be to the side. I don't think I need it, do I?
All right, let's make some noise to let people know that there's actually people in the room. Woo! All right, so hopefully you guys who are periscoping in can see this. Obviously, we can see this pretty good. Tonight, first off, I just want to thank you guys for coming. There's a lot of places that you guys could have been today, but you chose to be here. And that says a lot about you, it says a lot about your commitment. And for those who are coming to us from Periscope, you're still here in spirit, and I hope today that what you guys learned today will give you some value and help you explode your business. Now, I chose this theme because all-out massive action can, come with a lot of things. Think of a race car, going down the track. I was in the military. How many of you guys are in the military? Anybody? Okay. What branch were you in, John?
Army.
Army? Okay.
Station, same place you work.
Really? Okay, so we do need to have some talk. So John was in the military too. All right, we won't hold him against it. He was in the Army, but that's okay. Just kidding. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let me move this so I can actually see it better. So we're going to talk about your business like as if it takes flight, okay? So let's talk about the principle of flight. When I was in the Navy, I went through airman school. And airman school basically teaches you the principle of flight. It teaches you specifically on an aircraft carrier, you've got a short range to get those planes off and the whole system about how to launch them. But I really want to use this analogy with your guys' business, okay? So flight is achieved when you shift the balance between the opposing forces, okay? So in order to get lift, you got to overcome drag, weight, and you do that by having lots of thrust. What does that have to do with the business? So let's look at each one real quick. So when you talk about lift, you want to think about, I want to raise my income level, okay? Elevate my lifestyle, soar to elite status. It takes effort, right? So in order to create lift, these are the things you got to overcome. This is hard. Drag. How many of you guys have people in your life that are nothing but drags, right? They feel like they're pulling you back. So drag in this sense is maybe not setting priorities. If you don't set a priority, that can keep you from creating lift. What about limiting beliefs? I don't know if that's just for me. I know other people have had success, but who am I to be able to have success? Maybe they have something special. Anybody other than me suffer with those? Plagues you a little bit? That will drag you back and keep you from accelerating and, more importantly, getting the lift that you want. And then there's these people I like to call the realists in life. How many people say, well, you're reaching too high? Anybody got those realists in their life? They'd always tell you the odds are against you. Well, I don't know. The odds are against you on that. They talk a lot about the real things in life. Weight. Now, you guys might want to help me with this because the thing that I came up about weight is your goals and dreams. Getting a plane off the ground with what we call no payload in the Navy A payload, by the way, is the ordnance that you take with you, the bombs, the rockets. It's the weight. It's a necessary thing to go into battle. But that weight requires what? More thrust.
And lift.
And more lift to get it off the ground. So your goals in your business, what are they? How many of you guys want to just stay at Pro 1? Pro 2? Anybody in this room want to be a Pro 10? They can't. They are raising their hands behind you. You just can't see it. So you guys watch it by Periscope. I mean, did you get into this business just to be a Pro 1 or Pro 2 or Pro 5? Or do you really want to go all the way? Because if that is your goal, you guys, it's going to take more, what? Thrust to get lift. Another thing is, a lot of people talked about it from Elite Academy as they have this no distributor left behind. How many of you guys on your team have people you just want them to have success too? I want to take you with me. But they are more dead weight than help. Anybody have any of those people that you don't want to admit? Anybody in the room? Here's my question for you. Can you want it more for them?
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes we do, don't we? Sometimes we want it more for someone than they want it for themselves. So that becomes a weight that you carry because you're trying to bring everybody with you. The other people that add to your weight are what I like to call the pessimists. How many of you guys know what crabs in a bucket do to one another when one crab tries to climb out? Anybody know?
Pulls them down.
Pulls them down, right? Where do you think you're going? Now, I don't speak crab, but you could see that they just pull you. Where are you going? And in our lives, we have those pessimists who, when you get out of their comfort zone, where are you going? Hey, you're not playing poker with me this weekend. You're not drinking at the bar, or whatever it is. All of a sudden, where are you going? They don't want to see you excel or elevate your life. So those are the things that you have to overcome. Another thing is thrust. When I think of thrust, as far as when it comes to this business, I think about a clear vision about where I'm going, right? Compelling conviction, focus on my future, and a factual belief system. Because what you believe about where you're going, you're going to go that way. I have a friend who's a really avid motorcycle rider, and here's what he says. How many of you guys know when you're riding motorcycles, you end up where you're looking, right? Right, Kim? Yep. She rides Harleys. Okay, so they teach you, right, to look where you're going because that's where you'll end up. So, anyway, so let's talk a little bit about that. First, I want to lay some groundwork. This is an F-18, and I don't know what it weighs, but statistically, an F-18 takes almost 5,000 feet to take off. That's a long ways. And in the Navy, we actually do things a little different. Okay? This is an aircraft carrier. Now think about the military, and this is just an analogy, but an aircraft carrier is normally in the heat of the battle, right? Planes that take off from land normally have a longer track to get to. Isn't that true? So it takes a little while to get there. And I was thinking about this analogy, and bear with me on this, but sometimes you just need to go to war with your life. I've had enough of this, right? And sometimes it just takes, listen, I'm going to battle. Now, somebody said that, I think it was Anthony Robbins said, a guy came up to him and says, you know what, it took me 22 years to quit smoking, but I finally did it. And he's like, no, it didn't. He's like, no, yeah, it did. I've smoked for 22 years. He said, no, it didn't take you 22 years. It took you 5 seconds to make the decision, but it took you 22 years to get to the point where I've had enough and I actually am now going to quit. So what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is to go to war, go to battle. Think about your why, your vision. Where are you going, right? But just hoping that you're going to get there is not going to get you there. Sometimes it takes this mental thing saying, listen, I'm going to war. Now, when I look at an aircraft carrier, it literally takes, anybody guess what this distance is? Now you know, because it says it. That's 328 feet. I just told you that an F-18 takes almost 5,000 feet to get off the ground. How in the world is this accomplished? Now, if you know anything about aircraft carriers, what is it that launches that plane off the aircraft carrier? Okay, catapult system works much like a slingshot. It's a steam compressed cylinder that drives that thing forward. And I learned all about that. My father was on an aircraft carrier, my uncles, and I was supposed to go to an aircraft carrier. Actually, the same one, the USS Ranger. And when I was in boot camp, I got picked up to go to the honor guard, and so I ended up at Washington, D.C. But I was destined for an aircraft carrier, honestly. So what does it take to launch this bad boy? You're right, it takes a catapult system. But I love this analogy. This is a life-size, well, what would you call this? A scale. Thank you, John. A scale. So you look at these tiny things. That's 328 feet. Look at the distance that it's accomplished on an aircraft carrier. That's a difference of 93%, a reduction of distance or reduction of time. And what does this have to do with? I came here to run my business, not learn about military tactics. But the purpose of this event, or this training for you guys, is a couple of things. One is to really decide if I really want to go to war with where my life is at now. But in order to create a strategic plan, in order to go to battle, you can take a lot of time to get there, or you can accelerate it. And this is what we're going to talk about, is accelerating, going all out and making it happen. Now, in either one of these scenarios, how much energy do you think the plane uses to take off? Do you think that they do 20%? Any guesses?
The throttle's wide open.
The throttle is wide open. Well, when you do this business, sometimes people say, well, I really want to do this, but right now I've got this going on. I'm reading a good book right now, or my kids are in this program, and I really, all of these things. Can a plane give 60% and get off the ground? Why not? You're telling me it has to do 100%? Well, that's not very nice. Maybe I'm reading a book right now, or maybe I've got this going on. See, the thing is, physics doesn't care what you got going on. It takes a certain amount of effort. Now, when this plane takes off, whether it's off of the ground or off an aircraft carrier, it takes 100% effort and an assistance, obviously, to do it in 328 feet. But does that pilot keep the throttle wide open once he gets airborne?
Once he gets there for a bit, until he gets his speed up.
Once he gets, exactly right. Once he gets his speed off, you can actually reduce it down to about 65% at cruising speed. It is not efficient for that jet to be at 100% throttle all the time. So what I'm talking about tonight, you guys, is I'm not talking about you dropping the throttle down and living your life on 100% effort. What I'm talking about is a short burst of all-out massive action for the benefit of being able to throttle back. Does that making sense? Mm-hmm. So here's the thing you guys need to understand is, where do you want to go? So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, I love this analogy because this is true. On an aircraft carrier, the person who pulls the trigger, it's not the pilot, it's the person who has a better vantage point or perspective on the whole thing. They can see the plane, they can see the people that are chalking, they can see everything around it, and that person's called the shooter. The shooter has to make a proper calculation of the amount of wind going over the bow, how much payload is in there, or that plane is going into what we call the drink. Now, my wife laughs at that because that doesn't make any sense to her, but the ocean is the drink. So what happens if the shooter makes the wrong calculation? This sucker is costing about $20 million into the water. So they can't make the mistake.
It doesn't run good underwater.
That's what?
It doesn't fly good underwater.
It doesn't fly good underwater. It's not a submarine. Exactly right. So here's the thing. You guys are going to be the shooters for your own business. And obviously, once you learn this and you get elevation success, and we'll talk a little bit more about how success attracts people to you, you're going to help others to know what to look for in order to launch their own business. And that's the goal of that. Because in the network marketing industry, here's what we say. It doesn't matter what works. Anybody know the rest of that? It's not what works that matters, it's what is duplicatable or what duplicates. Absolutely, because just because you're good, that's great for you, but that doesn't mean you're going to have major success. So you want a simple system. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So what does it really take to launch your business? It takes all-out massive action, right? Now, there was a guy that I was listening to today, and he hand glides. And he talked about this similar thing. What if you're running down the cliff, and you decide to just, you know what? I just don't feel like it today. Are you going to go over the edge like that? No, you're not. Because here's one thing he says. You actually have to become getting airborne before you even get to the edge. Because if you don't, you can't come around for another, I'll just try it again. There's no redo, right? There's no redo. All right. Exactly. So let's talk about a couple of things. And this is where I would, I'm almost there. So let's talk about the drag and the weight. The first thing is, this is off, just a definition of a realist. A realist is a person who tends to view or represent things as they, quote, really are. And that's sometimes people's perception. Weight, let's talk about the pessimist. A pessimist is someone who has the tendency to expect the worst in everything. Okay, anybody know some pessimists in their life? Okay, so if you pan that over here so these people can see this, I want to show you something.
The back row.
Yeah, girls, let's go. Okay, so think about, this is a pessimist, okay? If you're the kind of person that is, the glass is half empty all the time, and you're trying to have some success in your life, chances are, if you're pessimistic about everything, you're going to be down here. You're not going to get where you want to go, okay? A realist is a little bit different. And you're going to run into these type of people in your business. A realist says, listen, I'm not bad like the pessimist, but, if the visionary person is saying that's where we should be, they're probably going to get this far. A little bit. Because they're realistic about things. Okay? In LifeVantage, what you're looking for and what you want to be is visionary. Now, the problem with a visionary, I don't know if that's straight across or not, is this is what a visionary is going for. And I love what Eric Worre said today. He got so much flack. And by the way, Eric Worre has made well over $15 million in his network marketing career. Well over. And he talks about times where he said, let's put 500 people in a room. And people knew him so well that they would say, okay, well, Eric Worre math is, okay, if you want 500, that really means only 250 people are going to show up. So, maybe, they do the Eric Worre math, maybe that's 60 people. Now, how many times have we had an event here in this area, and we get a room that's bigger, and we're like, let's fill this thing, let's get 200 people here. And we get to the event, and there's maybe 30 or 40 people, or half. And so the pessimist would say, see, I told you it wouldn't work. I told you. The realist would say, you should have shot a little bit lower, and maybe you would have did that. So if we would have shot for 50 people, the question is, would we have gotten 50 if you were trying to be realistic about it? You would have got probably 10 people. And that's exactly what he was talking about. Visionaries go for this, but they're okay with landing here. Because this is a lot higher than this. But here's the problem with the realists and the pessimists in your life. You know what they spend all their time talking about? Is this. You didn't get it done. I told you it was realistic. That wasn't realistic. The pessimist says, well, I don't know why you're trying so hard. You never accomplish what you say you're going to. But at the end of the day, I'll gladly take this over this and over this any day. So sometimes when you're looking at your dreams and you're looking about trying to create thrust in your business, you want to be visionary. You want to think ahead. Okay? So we talked a little bit about each one of these. So this is what happens when you have way too much drag and too much weight and the pessimist and the realist in your life? What happens when you got too much of the bad stuff? What's going to happen to that plane? Obviously, the picture tells you everything, right? You're going to go to nosedive. Okay. And here's some people might be asking, especially on Periscope, because Periscope's live right now, and there's probably people coming in and out like, what the heck are they doing in there? And that's okay. But one of the reasons why I'm spending a little time on this is because this business is about 90% right here. The reason why you don't do something is because you already gave up before you even started. And when you have these negative factors in your life, it's only worse. How many of you guys have heard finish this statement? You are the sum total of the five people you hang around the most. So you can take the average income of the 5 people you hang around, all that. It's pretty factual. So if you don't like where you are, maybe sometimes it's a little bit easier to cut some ties. Now, if they're your family, you might want to limit as much time as you spend with them unless they start moving in a better direction. So, all right, so let's talk about why in the world are people so pessimistic and realistic about life. Here's some statistics that I want you guys to think about. 38% of Americans make less than $20,000 a year. That's a lot. 71% of Americans make less than $50,000 a year. It's a drag, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? This is what we're dealing with. When you say network marketing and we can change our life, this is what the realists are looking at. This is what the pessimists see. 49% of Americans are on some sort of government assistance. Half the United States. This is a very interesting fact. 86% of college graduates who actually got a job last year do not work in the field of their study. 86%. So what was the purpose of college? Right?
Exercise of futility.
Exercise in futility, says John.
The notion of being in debt for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Now, just so you know, a college degree now is the new high school diploma. There's nothing extra special about having a college degree anymore. Really isn't. Not saying that, learning something is bad. The question is, why are you doing it? And if you're doing it to get a better job, 86% of college graduates didn't get the job in their field last year. Okay? 47% of jobs will be automated by the year 2030. This was from Oxford University just past October. What do I mean by this? And all of this is a drag, right? But here's the thing. You guys cannot have lift in your business without drag. You need an opposing force to be able to create lift. I want you to get this in your mind because this is crucial when you're talking to somebody, and this is the stuff that's out there. This can be a good thing if you know how to look at it and if you're a visionary for where you want to go. Okay? So, anybody know what this company's called or who these people are? Mm-hmm. Did anybody see what happened just a couple of days ago?
Yep. Closed stores. Wow.
Almost up to 10,000 employees lost their job. Last statistic I read is actually 6,000. But 6,000, and they closed down total, I think it was like 260 some stores in the world. And there says right here, 154. And here's the link. It was on the New York Times. This major retailer, 10 to 16,000 people are losing their jobs. How is that possible? Well, remember I just said that automation is changing everything. Here's one of the biggest reasons why they're closed down.
Yep.
Amazon is dealing direct to the consumer. Why do you need to spend millions of dollars with a big old box and employees and salaries and all this stuff? There's a shift coming, you guys. And if you know this, that's why Paul Zane Pilzer, the world economist, said the next trillion. Did you know that in the next 10 years, 10 million new millionaires will be created because of the shift that I'm about to tell you about? Here's the thing. It depends on how you look at it. If you're a pessimist or a realist, you may not see the opportunity to lift your life to a higher level. And that's what I want to show you guys tonight. So, how many of you guys ever been to Blockbuster? I remember. And how many of you lately have been to Blockbuster to pick up a DVD? They went out of business because Blockbuster could have bought a little company called Netflix, and they were like, what's Netflix? We have 2,000 stores. Well, shortly after that, guess what happened? Direct to the consumer, go and pick it up, wait in line. That stuff's gone, right? All that's changing. People right now are watching this on Periscope. Okay? You don't have to wait for the VHS or the DVD to come out. You're watching it live. That's technology. Direct to the consumer. That's what's changing. Okay? How many of you have ever taken an Uber ride? Some people are looking at me funny eyes like, what's Uber? How many don't know what Uber is? Don't be embarrassed. Just lift your hands. Okay? A few of you, okay? Uber is a new way to get a ride to go somewhere. Like, think of a cab. The difference is, if you're an Uber driver, you basically just say, okay, I'm ready to take rides. And if you have this app on your phone, you can look at your phone and you can say, what is close to me? And you can see all the Uber cabs in real time where they are. And you say, I'll take a ride. And you have an account. And the driver picks you up. Uber pays the driver directly. Now, let's say you're an Uber driver and you're like, you know what, I'm hungry. Do you have to wait for lunch? No, you just log off and you go take a lunch. It doesn't matter. You only get paid when you take rides. So now you're in control of your time. You don't have somebody dispatch telling you, no, you did beat across here. Why did you? Well, you took too long there. No, you're in control. And so now it's a better experience, because I don't know about you, but I've been to some cabs in New York and I didn't even talk to the guy, It smelled funny in there and all kinds of crazy stuff. But the Uber, they're very particular about the car you drive, needs to be nice and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of executives who are leaving corporate America and going to Uber. And if you don't think Uber is a big deal, here's what you need to know. In 6 years, Uber is worth now more than Ford Motor Company, and they do over 1 million rides per day. 1 million rides per day. This company is fairly new, 2005, 2006. That's impressive. Okay? So here's the thing. The industry is moving to a direct-to-consumer industry. Does anybody in this room getting a little excited about what you have your hands on? People are looking for that. And now here's the thing. How many of you guys remember the turn of the century? Did you know the turn of the century, before the Industrial Revolution, there was about 80% of people were growing their food in some way, either farmers or at some scale. What changed everything? Henry Ford started this, and people didn't even want to work in an assembly line like this, but the pay was better, and technology changed to tractors. So it wasn't necessarily unemployment that things were bad. Industry was able to be enhanced because one tractor could do the work of 30 guys, 40 guys, 50 guys. So the industry just shifted. So everybody went to work at the, I call it jail, and they got the cubicles and all that kind of stuff. So here's an industry shift that's coming. How many of you guys know what this is? This is a Google car.
Google car?
There's no steering wheel.
Oh my God.
You just get in and it takes you place. Now here's the thing. This car has had over 10,000 commutes with no wrecks. And if this is true technology. It just got in a wreck last year. And you know why? Because somebody was driving it. So that's the only time it got in a wreck. Now here's the thing. Technology, how would it be nice to get in the car? Now everybody's like, this just seems a little strange. You know what? Your cell phone seemed a little strange about 10 years ago. That all it could do. What I'm telling you is that there's a shift coming. And this is what, you can go on to Google, type in Google, type in the driveless car, I forgot whatever it's called. And there's a video of it showing people getting in, all kinds of stuff. It's really, really cool. This is where the technology is going. And if you don't believe me, this is proof. This is a Mercedes-Benz that drives itself. It's a truck. And right here on the side, if you can't see it on Periscope, it says 2025, the future truck. Why is this important? Why is this important? Because right now there's 3.5 million truckers on the road. What happens if by 2025, let's give them grace period, let's say 2030. What happens when you don't need a truck driver anymore because you've proved that a machine could do it efficiently? Where do these 3.5 million people go to get a job? You don't think it's coming? It's coming. Here's the other thing. 5.2 million people serve this industry. Technology is going to change things, you guys. Now, it seems a little sci-fi right now, but a lot of things that you use today that you just take for granted of was sci-fi not 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? So there's a shift coming, and if you know about it, you can take full advantage of it. So let's talk about thrust, because we're getting back to your business. We talked about a clear vision of where you're going. The reason why I'm spending time on this is because with a belief system and knowing what's coming changes things. If you would have known about Apple computers 10 years ago, would you have bought it? Right? Because we all suffer from that one disease. What's it called? Hindsight. And Protandim does not help with that, by the way. Right? So let's talk about clear vision. So, NFL. Anybody who ever watched football? The things that I'm about to show you is going to give you what I call thrust. What do we have our hands on? NFL, $13 million a year in the NFL. Music industry, this counts MP3s, it counts concerts, counts everything. $14 billion. NBA, $5 million a year. Real Salt Lake's in the MLS league, and they're only $461 million a year. I thought it would be bigger than that, to be honest with you. Soccer's not as big as I thought, but I put it in there because of LifeVantage. All right, Hollywood, every movie that's gone out, DVDs, all of it, Blu-ray, everything, $80 million a year. Okay, that's a lot. How many kids go to school? Their parents work with them. You know, you can go to the NBA. You get a college degree. You can do it. I'm not saying that's not bad. It's not bad to be competitive and all that. But what I'm saying is that what happens when that poor kid is farting around in the yard and falls on his collarbone, cracks his... My wife's laughing because I said farting around. But what's the point? What happens to that guy? What happens to that kid's future?
It's out of the window.
It's done. How many people are going to be big stars? You know, how many people do you see on American Idol that shouldn't be there, to be honest with you, right? But they think they can make it. It's just my big break. I need my big break. 14 billion. That's it. The whole industry, 14 billion. Why do I say that? Because you guys, we're a part of a direct selling association, 182 billion a year. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. You can take all of those and combine them, and it still doesn't equal 182. Do we have our hands on something? I think we do. Because the industry does not care if you're black, white, fat, skinny. It doesn't care about any of that. Handicap, none of it. It rewards tenacity and rewards people who think with vision where they're going. I'm hoping some of this is sinking in and you guys are getting some value from this. Okay? So, here's the cool thing. This is why this is not going away. Machines cannot have relationships. Okay? At least not yet. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
It's seriously frightening.
Anyway, I'm going to leave that alone. All right, so commercials. Commercials do not sell people anymore. How many of you guys watch commercials like, oh, yes, I'm going to go buy that right now? A good example is that how many of you guys have seen 15 minutes or more could save you 15% on car insurance? Okay, what company is that? How many in this room have Geico? Not one of you! Not what? I don't know what you guys on Periscope, but not one of these people in this room have Geico, but we've all seen the commercial. Why not? Why do they spend millions and millions of dollars? It's not working, guys. Now, here's the thing. If I just went to a really awesome restaurant last night, had amazing service, and I told you, got to check out this restaurant. Oh, my gosh, it was so good. The portion sizes, blah, 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 blah. Would you want to go?
Yes.
Yes, you would, because you take the value of a relationship. Machines, commercials, people are getting smart. They're like, listen, you're just trying to sell me something. But if you have a relationship with someone, that's different. Okay? That's why this industry is not going away, but growing. Now, here's the thing. People don't want to age faster. How many of you guys want to age faster? Okay, I don't think so, right? You know, okay? Here's the thing. Wrinkles will never be all the rage, okay? How many of you guys just want more wrinkles? Man, I can't wait to get more wrinkles. No. Why did I say that? Because we have products around these, right? Pretend and True Science. Category creating products create rare opportunity. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to understand. This $182 billion are on a lot of products that everybody has. Soaps and different types of stuff. I won't go all the different things, but you know, right? What if you have a category creating product that creates a rare opportunity that's different? That's unique and different. Is that going to help you create a lot more thrust in your business? Absolutely. Once people know what you have, it's different. Okay? Last but not least, I love this statement from Washington State, right? It was in February. It says, Nerve 2 is the most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. You think we have something that's different than the rest of the other companies? We do. Yeah. If this is not turning your crank and lighting your fires, then you might want to check your machine. You might have wet wood or whatever, right? Okay. So let's look at this right here. What is this, you guys?
Income statement.
Income disclosure statement. We're publicly traded, so we have to divulge. Now, there's a lot of numbers here, so I'm going to just isolate the three that I want to talk about. How many in this room want to be at least one or two more ranks than you are now? Okay, 100% participation? Okay, good. What about 4 ranks? How many of you guys want at least to be a Pro 7, maybe a Pro 8? Okay, I think everybody does. So the question is, how does this make this possible?
Well, you're not going to keep on going?
Oh, and okay, sorry, I apologize, Kim.
Okay,
how many are in this to be a Pro 10?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Periscope? Okay, everybody wants to be a Pro 10. Now here's the thing I'm going to tell you. The amount of weight that it takes to get that sucker off the ground is a lot different than Pro 1. Now, we all can say we want something. I want to win the lottery. I wish I would have won the $1 billion that happened, right? But I didn't buy a lottery ticket because I knew my odds. I could tell you the odds about it. It's a funny analogy, but I'm going to skip that for sake of argument. But here's the thing. This is your weight, you guys. This is the income that's there. Now, some people watching this Periscope are like, what the heck are they talking about? You know what? That's stupid. That's too much work. Network marketing is a pyramid scheme. Anybody heard those? It's a scam. It's all that. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. I just showed you Walmart and all these things that in the world right now that are creating drag. Listen, you don't have to do network marketing. You could try your own thing. So let's just do middle of the road, a Pro 5 that makes $2,000 a month residually. And let's say you could find an investment that pays you 3%. How long is it going to take you to save up $900,000? You don't have to do this option. Okay, it's fine. But what is your option to get there? And more importantly, how long is it going to take? I don't really see any other way. Okay? So let's talk about the thing that matters the most tonight. We talked a lot about drag and weight to get lift. But here's the thing, you guys. Success loves speed. So we're going to talk about this 90-day sprint. And if your pens are not moving right now, and you know what they say, never trust your fortune to your memory, you need to write this down. So fortunately for you guys, I actually gave you some stuff. So can I have a lovely assistant? Now this is the cool thing. The people that came that are here live, they have a complete packet. It's going to help them with their 90-day game plan. Now, if you're watching this by Periscope and you're like, man, I wish I would have... Go around this way, Hannah. Give everybody one if you could. So if you're watching this by Periscope, and if I end up putting this on YouTube, if you're watching this by Periscope or YouTube and you're in LifeVantage and you want this, email me at nerf2freedom@gmail.com. So NRF2, the word freedom @gmail.com, and I will put this on my Google Drive and I'll share it with you, okay? So if you're watching that. All right, so let's talk about success, okay? Loves speed. First thing is the reason why success loves speed is because it's efficient, okay? I challenge you, go out and see how slow you can ride your bicycle. It's probably not a good idea, right? So the faster you write it, excuse me, kid. So the faster you write it, the more it's a little easier to control, right? Movement, okay? All right. So it's also effective. Here's the thing. Every big network marketer who makes a lot of money in this industry can trace their entire wealth back to a 90-day sprint, either 1, 2, or 3, 4 times. Okay? It's effective. It works. It's also exciting and fun once you get past the fear of it. Here's the problem with most people in the industry as a whole, and I've fallen prey to this several times in my journey in the last two years, is I get really excited after a meeting and I say, yeah, I'm going to do this, right? And then I make a couple of calls, and what's worse is I have someone who has interest. And I get excited. And then what I do is I celebrate. Woo! I got somebody excited. I'm going to stop making phone calls because I got somebody's excited. And I let that momentum die away. And guess what happens tomorrow when I want to make a phone call? Or more importantly, about 3 days later, when that maybe didn't work out, now I'm even depressed. What happens is now I got to go back through fear again. I got to push through the fear. I got to make the call. The phone feels like 300 pounds. I want to make this call. Here's the thing. If success loves speed, here's the one great advice that Eric Worre gives, is that I would rather, if you're going to do 10 hours a week in your business, do it all together at one time. Don't do 1 hour here and then 1 hour there, because you're going to go through the fear every time. So a burst of energy over in one time is better than little bits there and there. Okay? Here's the cool thing about speed and success is that it is very attractive. How many of you guys know about Carrie Dickey, who signed up a gal who went to Pro 7 in a month? 2 months, I think it was, something like that. Another gentleman who was signed up by Marcel and Tyler Daniels. Anybody know how many people he recruited in his first month? 56, 60, something like that. The numbers bounce around, but even if it's 50, I've heard 86, and then I've heard 50. But here's the thing. Let's give them the low number. 50 people in a month? Anybody want to do that? Okay? Now here's the thing. You want to do that, right? So do I. But here's my question. Why would someone of that caliber come to LifeVantage? Why were they attracted to this company? Because somebody else already had major success. They attracted the like kind of person. Carrie Dickey tracks the like kind of person. If you're not happy with the people you're attracting, look in the mirror, because you attract what you're like. So this is what Jim Rohn says, if you want to attract people, then you need to be an attractive person. And I don't mean physically. Of course, true science can help with that and all that kind of stuff. But the point is, what do we say? Your business will never be bigger than you are. So if you want those kind of people, you need to create a success story that you can talk about. That's where this comes from. Okay? So here's the thing. Since it does attract people, sometimes people say, you know what? I can't go all out for 90 days. Or I can go all out I can go all out for 90 days, but I can't do 70 hours a week. So here's the thing. I love what Eric said, is he gave it 3 categories. Find the category that makes sense to you. Okay? So maybe you're a level 1 person that can do 10 to 20 hours a week. Okay? If that's where you're at because of your life and what's going on, then choose that. But in these 10 to 20 hours, 100% commit yourself to that. And for a 90-day period. Maybe you're a level 2 person that wants to do 20 to 40 hours a week to really launch your business. And then maybe you're like some people who want to go all in. Hey, I'm tired. I'm going to war. I'm tired of this. I'm going to war for 90 days. Because here's the thing. 90-day sprint, you don't have to do them every 90 days. Because just like a plane getting off that runway, it's a short burst, 100% effort, and then you can throttle back. Okay? All right. How am I on time? Nobody's talking to me over there.
Sorry, time people.
Okay, I'm a time person. So here's the thing. I want to break this down to you. Success is all about exposures. Right? If nobody sees your opportunity, nobody's going to know. Where am I at? It's 6 now?
No, it's 7:15.
Oh, there's a clock right there. Imagine that. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little bit for you. Okay. So here's the thing. How many people do you think you can get out of 10 exposures? So out of 10 exposures, maybe one? Maybe one? Now, I've heard the industry average is actually 2. So here's the question. If that's the industry average, do you think it's you just have bad people? Or maybe the skills are not there that you need? Hey, Charlie. So could it possibly be the skill level? If you had better skill, do you think you could increase that? Yes?
Possibly.
You don't think so? You're giving me that.
I don't know.
So if you were better at inviting, let me rephrase it. Do you think Carrie Dickey only gets 1 out of 10?
No.
Okay. Tyler Daniels, 1 out of 10. Let's talk about the guy that enrolled 50 people. Did he get 1 out of 10? Okay. So here's the thing. And here's the thing. You're always going to be bad before you're good. What's the rest of it? Good before you're great. So as you improve your skill, the better you're going to be. But let's just go with 2 out of 10, okay? So basically 8 people were mean to you and they never want to do the business, and I can't believe you even thought of me. But here's the thing. 2 out of 10, that's pretty good. Okay? So here's the thing. I want you guys on Periscope and you guys to think about this. Think about your business right now and how many people that you have in it. And take the income that you've earned in the network marketing business, okay? And you don't have to do it all now, but here's the thought process. We did this on the way over. Take all the money that you've earned in network marketing and divide it by the amount of people that you truly exposed it to. Not sent one text and be like, well, they didn't text me back. Someone you've actually that has seen the opportunity, okay? If you divide that, what do you think the number would be? You know what it was for us? $334 per person that I just talked to. Not who got in the business, a prospect. $330 plus per prospect. Now, if I told you that if you go talk to somebody, you're going to make $330 just to talk to them about the opportunity, would that change your perspective a little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit, wouldn't it? People go every day and work at a job for $10 an hour and don't understand. Now, by the way, I just divided that by the last year or 2.5 years that I've been in LifeVantage. What is it going to be worth to me as it continues to go up and up and up and up? So that's what you need to think about, and we'll talk about that at some point. But I thought that was powerful. So let me show you the odds, okay? The magic number in a sprint is 20, okay? So enrolling 20 new people, okay? I just told you about a guy who enrolled 50. And we're going to talk about a simple duplicatable system to make this a lot more attainable, because that's what's important. So let's go with 20. 20 personal recruits. Now here's the thing. It must be done in a short amount of time. If you do 20 over the course of a year and a half, you're not going to have the same lift, the acceleration. None of that's going to happen. This has to be done in a burst, and here's the reason why. If you enroll 20 people, 12 will actually do something, 8 will completely disappear. They'll never open their box. They'll never show up. That's just the way it is, okay? That's the statistic. Now, by the way, this is industry specific across the board. 8 out of the 12 will do most of the business if you recruit 12 people. 8 of them will do it, okay? Out of the rest of that, out of these 12, 4 of them will be your solid leaders. 12 months later, these 4 people will represent 95% of your volume. Okay? And you can do this math with the amount of people that you've actually enrolled. So you don't have to say 20, and I'll show you how to do that off camera. But 4 of them will be solid in the business. And out of those 4, one of the 4 will do about 50% of that. So you're going to have 3 people that represent the other 50, and you'll have 1 person out of 20 that actually are taking it seriously. Now here's the reason why you need to know this. If you're going to be the shooter, and you're going to launch your plane off this thing, wouldn't it help to know the odds and not get frustrated? This is industry-wide. It's not just LifeVantage. And then in 2 years, out of these 20, you'll basically have 2 rock-solid people out of 20 in 5 years from now. if you stay in the industry. Okay? Which you would. All right. So some people say, well, you know what? What if you stop at, less than that? Well, here's the thing. If you stop at 8, if you end up getting 8 involved, here's the numbers all the way down. 5, 3, 1 person will be basically, and then a quarter of a person. I don't know how you get a quarter of a person, but basically not very much. So the important part of this, and by the way, this is not my statistic. This is Eric Worre. He said 20 is the magic number to create enough lift to take your business to the next level. Okay? Everybody got that? I'm going to move on. Everybody in Periscope got that? Can you see it? I hope you can. All right. So here's the thing. Some people are like, well, I don't like those numbers. How many of you guys do real estate? I know people that done real estate. Do you know that 95% of real estate agents who went completely through the training, 95% of them will never sell a single house? Not one. Well, I don't know, man. Somebody should investigate that. That sounds like a scam to me. Right? But they look at our industry and they think that. So if you don't like these numbers, try being a real estate agent. It's worse than that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the structure. Okay, now here's what I want you to think about. You only need to do a sprint once a year. Just once. If you do it properly and you commit to it, it'll be enough for that whole year because you're going to be working with those people. All right? So if you look at your papers, I'm about to get into that here in a second. But the thing is, you must decide to go all out. You can't be the guy that's smoking and says, you know what, I really need to quit. That's probably not going to work for you, right? Decide. That's the hardest part, is just deciding I'm going to do this. Okay? Whether we say short-term instability for long-term stability, decide to do it. Preparation, you got to be prepared. I'm going to speed through some of these. You have a pre-launch, you launch it. Now, I specifically want to talk to the people that are in the Idaho area. We're in a unique position that this Saturday, what do we have? We have a Super Saturday. We got Nikki coming here. She's a Pro 7. You have the opportunity to invite someone to listen to this person and let them do everything for you. You've got to, this successful, and we'll talk about some scripts and things like that in a minute. But this is a unique opportunity to start your launch right away and have someone else help you accelerate your thing. And then, of course, you accelerate to Lead Academy. Everybody know the two, if you boiled your success down to 2 points, do you know what they would be? Number 1, never miss an event because things change when you go. And number 2 is bring as many people as you can with you, right? So you got Lead Academy coming up. All right. So here's a couple of things that I want you guys to think about. These are common mistakes people make when they do a sprint, okay? And I know I would fall prey to some of these. They charge out and get overwhelmed and they just shut down. I can't do it. And then they stop completely. Well, if you do that, if you're down the runway and you're just about to go off the thing and you just decide to give up, where do you think that plane's going? Right?
Drink.
In the drink. That's right. Whatever. Anyway, they expect their whole team to go with me. Oh, let's all do it together. No distributor left behind. No. A sprint is not for your team. A sprint is for you. This is important. As much as you want everybody to run with you, success loves speed and success is attractive. And I promise you that if you personally commit to doing your sprint, your team will be attracted to that success. But if you try to drag them on, that's dead weight and you're not going to get lift. Don't make that mistake. Most people do that. Remember, it's a solo journey. You decide. Where do you want to be? People get overwhelmed. I spelled that all messed up. Anyway, they decide I'm doing level 3 because I'm going to war. And then all of a sudden there's something happened and they get off course and they go from 3 to 0. Well, forget it. That's okay. Back it off a little bit. Maybe you overcommitted. Anybody been in a restaurant that their eyes were bigger than their stomach? Wow, that sure looked good when I got here, but I'm not fitting it in. Don't bite off more than you can chew. That's why we'll talk about preparation. And then here's the thing. Won't make course corrections. That's what I was just talking about before. Nothing ever goes as planned. Expect it. An airplane that takes off in Washington State going to Hawaii is off course about 80% of the time. How in the world do they land on that little that little island in the middle of the ocean? Why? Because we already know. They make course corrections. So be willing to make course corrections. All right, so you guys have this here. Grab this here. All out massive action. And those of you on Periscope, I'll give this to you if you want it. Like I said. So I'll show you this real quick. Here's the crucial part of a 90-day launch, an all-out massive action. It must be simple. If you make this complicated, it will not work. Okay? So what does it look for you? In the back of your sheets, you're going to see that you have enough to write down 50 names. And we've talked about this in other trainings and stuff, but do not prejudge. Some of you are like, well, I've already talked to everybody. They're not interested. We'll get to that. Okay? There's a lot of ways to talk to the same people that you've talked to in the past. Okay? Take ownership of it like it's your business, because it is. And I'm going to blow through some of these because probably they can't see it on there, and we'll talk about it probably off camera. But I want to move over to the scripts real quick. Okay? Again, keep it simple. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate if you want to elevate. So, now, by the way, some of these scripts in this format is from the guy who signed up 50 people. I changed some of it, and I encourage you guys to work with what... Are we losing me?
No, you're good.
Okay. So, these scripts right here are text messages. How many of you guys have a smartphone? How many of you guys have a dumb phone? Right? Most phones today can text. Now, here's the thing. It has been said in the past that, what are you doing, Sarah?
Zoom in so they can read it.
Okay. Am I in the way?
No, you're good.
All right. Here's the cool thing about texting. Technology is changing, and I'm not been in the industry a long time, but how many of you guys have heard never text anybody, never email? Well, that was probably true a while ago, but now kids, millennials, they don't even call you. You call a millennial, they don't pick up the phone, and they'll text you right back. What'd you need? I just called you. Yeah, what do you need? It's quicker, it's efficient. Maybe I'm doing something else. It's easy for me to look at that, go back to it. You guys like it or not, this is where the industry is going. This is where life's going. So the beauty of this is that if you have an engaging text that gets people interested, you can move them through this process, okay? So I want you to, when you write those 50 names down, we're going to do this off camera, but when we do this tonight, I want you to be starting to think about people that your top 20, okay? And it starts with a relationship. If you just text somebody out of the blue, hey, I found a really awesome way to make money and blah, 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 the alarms are going to go off. That sounds like a scam, okay? No, that sounds like a commercial. Again, this has to do with relationships. But I like some of these, and I reworded some of them. So, of course, I like them because I reworded them. But I like this one. Hey, Jeff, I recently learned about a group of people who are creating six-figure incomes with an exciting breakthrough that was featured on ABC News. They use a simple system, and they're about to launch phase 2. Things are going pretty insane. Do you want to check it out? Now, that doesn't have to be exact your wording, but you see where I'm leading them? I'm asking, do you want to check it out? Here's, ABC News, some pointers. This is just to move them through the process. And these are just 3 different examples. Okay? And each example would be catered to the person. What are their hot buttons? And you know that, okay? So once you send this text message out, here's some of the process. Okay? And it's all in your deal there. But if they say yes, I'll send you over a short video. Do you have 15 minutes to watch it now? Okay? Now, what I'm about to say is going to be, some people are going to accept it, some people are not going to accept it. And that's okay. What I want you to get from what I'm about to tell you is that it has to be, number one, simple. Okay? How many of you guys have heard that it takes multiple exposures to get someone interested? And it's about, what's the percentage over 5? I think it's 80% of people will finally look at something. Now, this, what I'm showing you, is about 4 exposures. And the 15 minutes, there's a video that I just did, and it has the Rise of the Entrepreneur, a 2-minute segment to kind of help people understand where things are going. The ABC Live It video, or ABC Investigation, and then what I call the Imagine video. You know, imagine what your life would be like if you'd known about Apple, Google, Facebook. Now that's 15 minutes, okay? That's a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a lot. But the cool thing about it is it covers everything in one fell swoop. I kind of like it for a couple of reasons. One is if I'm going to get you to watch a video, I want to give you as much information as I can so that you can kind of make a decision on whether you like what you see, whether you got everything or not. It's almost kind of like drinking from a fire hose. Maybe for some people it might be too much. Some people just, hey, give it to me all. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do it this way, but I want you to see the system, okay? So maybe you show them the ABC video, and we talked about this with Brooke today. She said, listen, to this prospect, she said, listen, I'm a part of something that's revolutionary. I want you to see an ABC investigative report because it's the beginning of our story. And I want you to see it the way I see it. It aired in 2005, and you're going to have questions because it's 2016, and we'll answer those questions for you. But I want to start you here. Lets them know that something new, more is coming. Okay? So if someone says that they'll yes to it, then you send them over the video. You only send the video. Notice the first text isn't, here's the link, will you watch it? No, you wait till they reply and say, yes. Okay? What if they say, no, sorry it's not for you, we have incredible products, and then you can send them to maybe the ABC Live It video that way. Okay? If they say yes after watching the video, now you send it to them. Here you go. It's a huge breakthrough in health and anti-aging. We're moving fast. I wanted to get this info out to you. I will give you a call in 20 minutes because I asked them if they would watch it now. Now, what if they say they can't watch it now? Over here it says, what time today do you have 15 minutes to watch it or 9 minutes to watch it? You make sure that you set up a specific time. You have to be in control of this process. This process is really simple, but if you give too much too fast, you're not in control. Okay? Now, how many of you can send a text? Here's what I like about this process. As it's so elementary and simple, but that's the beauty of it. It is duplicatable, okay? And it's simple. You can go through it. If you sit down and say, hey, we're going to sit down, I'm going to bring you to a meeting on Thursday, and it's Monday, and sometimes it takes time to get everybody to a meeting, and then they don't show. The nice thing about this, if you utilize technology, you can get information directly in front of it. I mean, I was going to grab my phone, but it's right there. I mean, who doesn't have their phone? Right? What if there was a way to send everything to the phone and they would get an alert saying, hey, that thing that you signed up to watch starts in 3 minutes, touch here. Periscope is a good example of this. The people that are watching right now, do you think I said emailed everybody and says, hey, we're going to be starting at 6:30, here's the link, any of that stuff? Any of you guys know everybody know what Periscope is? You get an alert on your phone saying Periscope's starting. Okay? So, this process, and then you lead them to, you call them in 20 minutes, as you promised, you watch the video, right? And you lead them through. What did you like best about what you saw? If they say, I love the fact that you guys have products for dogs. Me too. I really love the fact that you guys have skincare. Oh, me too. Because you know why? I like it all anyway. But if I identify with what the person liked, that's a lot more connected right there, okay? So when they say, I liked it, I liked the Nerf 2, it was pretty cool, me too. And then you ask them this question, do you see yourself as a customer, or do you want to make money with us, or both? And if they say customer, then obviously you move over there. If they want to know more, then you set them up with a 3-way call. They say, I want to make more money. I'd love to introduce you to someone I'm working with that's in this area. What are 2 times within the next 24 hours that we can set up a 10-minute call? Okay? And you could even do this faster. Like today, Brooke texts me and says, I'm going to be making calls today. When will you be available? And I told her I was working on this thing, so I would be available anytime. Okay? So sometimes you can rush that even a little bit faster. Again, success loves speed. Okay? Here's another thing. If you do make it later, how many people have set up a 3-way call and you call them and they don't answer their phone? Okay? It's going to happen. So send them a text after because you've asked them for 2 of their times. Then you confirm the time and you text them and say, listen, okay, I was fortunate enough to schedule a time with so-and-so. The call's at 6 p.m. Do not flake out on me. This person is very busy and they're doing it as a favor for me. Okay? If they're not going to show up, they're probably going to tell you there, well, actually, I'm not really that interested. I just said that because blah, 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 blah. Okay, remember, out of 10 people that you show this to, 8 of people are going to call you stupid. This is dumb. I can't believe you're in that scam. Okay, well, go work at Walmart. Oh, my bad. They closed that one. You know what I mean? Right? So here's the worst thing about network marketing is that you have to get your feelers hurt. Nobody likes me. Who cares? Who cares? Right? All right, I'm getting all crazy over here. So anyway, you set up the 3-way call and you move forward. And if you can't see it again, I'm going to give this to you guys. Okay? All right. This is what I want to show you last. Okay? We're almost done, you guys. I appreciate you enduring this whole thing. I'm going to be starting Google Hangouts. How many of you guys know what a Google Hangout is? Okay? Wow, 1 person in the room. Two, sorry. You didn't raise your hand though. So. Okay, two. Okay. So the cool thing about a Google Hangout, and here's the thing. Clinton Boyles, who's a Pro 9, does this all the time. You sign up, you get somebody to go, they're going to do a meeting. You're going to do a live meeting, just kind of like a Periscope. But here's the cool thing. They get an alert on their phone, just like Periscope, that the meeting is starting. So a person doesn't have to show up to your home meeting to see the presentation. They can do it from their phone. And last time I checked, everybody's got their phone with them. If they don't go to the Google Hangout meeting that their phone alerted them about, they ain't doing the business, okay? So now you don't have to deal with that person over the course of 3 weeks. Couldn't make the meeting. This happened, that happened, blah, 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 blah. This is speed, right? Everybody's got their phone, and technology is the future. So if you've got it right there, that's the beauty of this. And the cool thing about Google Hangouts is it does record it, and you can throw that sucker up on YouTube later and everything like that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of meetings through Google Hangout in the future because anybody in the country, in the world, we're opening in UK. Anybody could come to the Google Hangout meeting and check it out. And that's awesome. So I'll show you guys that later how to get that set up. So other than that, I just want to thank you guys for listening to me today. I want us to, off camera, get set up for Nikki coming. And you can shut them down if you want to. Sorry, guys. We're going to do our thing over here. Getting ready for someone coming in town. So everybody say goodbye. Bye.